Welcome back to Coder Beans. In part 8 of our DOM manipulation in JavaScript series, we're diving into the world of event handling. Join us as we explore mouse events, keyboard events, form events, document loading events, and window events, covering essential techniques for creating interactive and dynamic web applications. Here's a working example that demonstrates various mouse events in JavaScript, including click, mouse over, mouse out, mouse down, mouse up, and mouse move. Write this code in index.html file. Change title to mouse events example. Write a style tag in head tag like this. Style the element. Hashtag target element. Width 100px. Height 100px. Background color, blue. Color, white. Text align, center. Line height, 100px. In body tag write a dev tag with id equals target element. Inside dev tag write hover me. Inside script tag write this code. Get a reference to the target element. Const target element equals document.getElementById, by id, target element. Function to handle the click event. Function handle click. Target element.innerHTML equals clicked. Function to handle the mouse over event. Function handle mouse over. Target element.style.background color equals red. Function to handle the mouse out event. Function handle mouse out. Target element.style.background color equals blue. Function to handle the mouse down event. Function handle mouse down. Target element.style.background color equals green. Function to handle the mouse up event. Function handle mouse up. Target element.style.background color equals red. Function to handle the mouse move event. Function handle mouse move. Target element.innerHTML equals mouse moving. Add event listeners to the target element. Target element.addEventListener, click, handle click. Target element.addEventListener, mouse over, handle mouse over. Target element.addEventListener, mouse out, handle mouse out. Target element.addEventListener, mouse down, handle mouse down. Target element.addEventListener, mouse up, handle mouse up. Target element.addEventListener, mouse move, handle mouse move. Click on Go Live in VS Code. You will see a blue box saying Hover Me in browser window. When you click on blue box, its text will change to clicked. When you bring mouse pointer on the box, its color will change to red. When you bring mouse pointer out of the box, its color will change back to blue. When you click the mouse button down, its color will change to green. When you release the mouse button up, its color will change to red. When you move mouse pointer on that box, its text will change to mouse moving. In this example, 1. We have an HTML document with a dev element with the ID target element. This element will be the target for the mouse events. 2. In the JavaScript section, we define several event handler functions. Handle click called when the element is clicked. Handle mouse over called when the mouse pointer enters the element. Handle mouse out called when the mouse pointer leaves the element. Handle mouse down called when a mouse button is pressed while over the element. Handle mouse up called when a mouse button is released while over the element. Handle mouse move called when the mouse pointer moves over the element. 3. We add event listeners to the target element for each of the defined mouse events. When the events occur, the corresponding event handlers are invoked. When you interact with the target element by clicking, hovering over, moving the mouse, or pressing and releasing the mouse button, you'll see how the event handlers modify the element's appearance and content, demonstrating the different mouse events in action. 2. Keyboard events. Here's a working example that demonstrates keyboard events in JavaScript, including key down, key up, and key press. Write this code in index.html file. Change title to keyboard events example. In style tag, write this code. Style the element. Hashtag output. Background color light gray. Padding 10px. In body tag, write a dev tag with id equals output. Inside dev tag, write press a key. In script tag, write this code. Get a reference to the output element. Const output equals document.getElement by id output. Function to handle the key down event. Function handle key down event. Output.innerHTML equals key down $event.key. Key code $event.keyCoda. Output.style.background color equals light blue. Function to handle the key up event. Function handle key up event. Output.innerHTML equals key up $event.key. Key code $event.keyCoda. Output.style.background color equals light green. Function to handle the key press event. Function handle key press event. Output.innerHTML equals key pressed $event.key. Key code $event.keyCoda. Output.style.background color equals light pink. Add event listeners to the document. Document.addEventListener, key down, handle key down. Document.addEventListener, key up, handle key up. Document.addEventListener, key press, handle key press. Click on Go Live in VS Code. You will see a light gray box with the message press a key. To see a key down event, press Shift key. You will see the color changes to light blue and the message to key down, Shift key code 16. To see a key up event, press any key and release. You will see the box color changes to light green and the message will show key up, the key name and key code. To see a key press event, press and hold a key. You will see the box color changes to light pink and the message will show key press, the key name and key code. In this example, 1. We have an HTML document with a dev element with the ID output. This element will display information about keyboard events. 2. In the JavaScript section, we define 3 event handler functions. Handle key down event called when a key is pressed down. Handle key up event called when a key is released. Handle key press event called when a character key is pressed. 3. We add event listeners to the document object for each of the keyboard events, key down, key up, and key press. When these events occur, the corresponding event handlers are invoked. 4. The event handlers update the output element to display information about the key and its key code. They also change the background color to differentiate between the different types of events. When you press keys on your keyboard, you'll see how the event handlers respond to key down, key up, and key press events, displaying information about the key and key code in the output element and changing the background color to indicate the type of event. 3. Form events. Here's a working example that demonstrates form events in JavaScript, including submit, input, change, and focus. In index.html file, write this code. Change title to form events example. In style tag write this code. Style the form. Form. Padding 10 px. Border 2 px solid light gray. Width 300 px. Margin 20 px. Auto. P. Text align center. In body tag write this code. A form tag with ID equals my form. Inside form tag write this code. A label tag with for equals name. Label text name. A input tag with type equals text ID equals name with required. A beertag. A label tag with for equals email. Label text is email. A input tag with type equals email. ID equals email with required. A beertag. A button tag with type equals submit. Button text is submit. After form tag write AP tag with ID equals output and text as output. In script tag write this code. Get a reference to the form and output element. Const form equals document.get element by ID, my form. Const output equals document.get element by ID, output. Function to handle the submit event. Function handle submit event. Prevent the form from actually submitting. Event.prevent default. Output.text content equals form submitted. Function to handle the input event. Function handle input. Output.text content equals input changed. Function to handle the change event. Function handle change. Output.text content equals value changed. Function to handle the focus event. Function handle focus. Output.text content equals input focused. Add event listeners to the form and input elements. Form.add event listener, submit, handle submit. Form.add event listener, input, handle input. Form.add event listener, change, handle change. Add a focus event listener to each input element. Const name input equals document.get element by ID, name. Const email input equals document.get element by ID, email. Name input.add event listener, focus, handle focus. Email input.add event listener, focus, handle focus. Click on Go Live in VS Code. You will see a form with two input fields, name and email, and a submit button. There is AP element with message as output. This will change when we interact with form and will show messages based on the form events. When you write something in the input fields, the output will change to as input changed. When you fill both inputs and click on submit button, it will change to as form submitted. When you fill the input field and click outside of form, it will change to as value changed. When you click on any input field, it will change to as input focused. In this example, 1. We have an HTML document with a form that includes two input fields, name and email, and a submit button. We also have AP element with the ID output where messages will be displayed. 2. In the JavaScript section, we define four event handler functions. Handle submit, event called when the form is submitted. It prevents the form from actually submitting by using event.prevent default and displays a form submitted message. Handle input, called when the input value changes. It displays an input changed message. Handle change, called when the input value changes, similar to input but specific to certain input types. It displays a value changed message. Handle focus, called when an input field receives focus. It displays an input focused message. 3. We add event listeners to the form for the submit, input, and change events. We also add focus event listeners to each input element individually. The event handlers update the output element to display different messages based on the form events. When you interact with the form by entering data, changing input values, or submitting the form, you'll see how the event handlers respond to submit, input, change, and focus events, displaying corresponding messages in the output element. For document loading events, here's a working example that demonstrates document loading events in JavaScript, including load and DOM content loaded. Write this code in index.html file. Change the title to Document Loading Events Example. In style tag, write this code. Style the container. .container. Text align, center. Margin 50px. Auto. Padding 20px. Border 2px solid light gray. Width 300px. In body tag, write this code. A dev element with class equals container ID equals content. In dev tag, write AP tag with text loading ... In script tag, write this code. Function to handle the load event. Function handle load. Set timeout function. Const content equals document.get element by ID content. Content.innerHTML equals page loaded. 3000, simulate a 2-second delay. Function to handle the DOM content loaded event. Function handle DOM content loaded. Set timeout function. Const content equals document.get element by ID content. Content.innerHTML equals DOM content loaded. 2000, simulate a 1-second delay. Add event listeners to the window. Window.addEventListener, load, handle load. Document.addEventListener, DOM content loaded, handle DOM content loaded. Click on Go Live in VS Code. You'll see different messages displayed in the content element. The loading ... message will be replaced by DOM content loaded when the document's initial HTML has been parsed, and it will be further replaced by page loaded when all page resources have finished loading. In this example, 1. We have an HTML document with a dev element with the class container and the ID content. Initially, it contains a loading message. 2. In the JavaScript section, we define two event handler functions. Handle load, called when the entire page, including its resources like images and styles, has finished loading. It updates the content of the content element to display page loaded. Handle DOM content loaded, called when the initial HTML document has been completely loaded and parsed. It updates the content of the content element to display DOM content loaded. 3. We add event listeners to the window for the load event and to the document for the DOM content loaded event. 4. The event handlers update the content element to display different messages based on the document loading events. 5. In the handle load and handle DOM content loaded functions, set timeout is used to introduce delays. The page loaded message will appear after a 3-second delay, and the DOM content loaded message will appear after a 2-second delay. These delays make it easier to observe the sequence of loading events. You can adjust the delay times to suit your preference. 5. Window events. Here's a working example that demonstrates window events in JavaScript, including resize, scroll, and before unload. In index.html file, write this code. Change title to window events example. In style tag, write this code. Style the container. .container. Text align, center. Margin 50px. Auto. Padding 20px. Border 2px solid light gray. Width 300px. In body tag, write this code. A dev element with class equals container. ID equals content. In dev tag, write AP tag with the text as window events. In script tag, write this code. Function to handle the resize event. Function handle resize. Content equals document.get element by ID content. Content.innerHTML equals window resized. Function to handle the scroll event. Function handle scroll. Content equals document.get element by ID content. Content.innerHTML equals window scroll. Function to handle the before unload event. Function handle before unload event. Display a confirmation message. Event.return value equals changes you made may not be saved. Add event listeners to the window. Window.addEventListener, resize, handle resize. Window.addEventListener, scroll, handle scroll. Window.addEventListener, before unload, handle before unload. Click on Go Live in VS Code. You will see a window with the message as window events in the browser window. You can test these events by resizing the browser window, scrolling the page, and attempting to close the page, which will trigger the corresponding event handlers and display the associated messages. When you resize the window, you will see the message changes to window resized. To see the scroll message, first resize the height of the window smaller than the window in which message is displayed. Now when you scroll the window, you will see the messages changes to window scrolled. When you try to close the browser tab from the X icon, you will see a confirmation message asking leave site. Changes you made may not be saved. In this example, 1. We have an HTML document with a dev element with the class container and the ID content. Initially, it contains a message related to window events. 2. In the JavaScript section, we define 3 event handler functions. Handler's eyes called when the window is resized. It updates the content of the content element to display window resized. Handle scroll called when the window is scrolled. It updates the content of the content element to display window scrolled. Handle before unload event called before the user navigates away from the page. It displays a confirmation message asking if the user wants to leave the page without saving changes. 3. We add event listeners to the window for the resize, scroll, and before unload events. 4. The event handlers update the content element to display different messages based on the window events. The before unload event handler displays a confirmation message when the user tries to leave the page. In the next part, we will explain event bubbling and event capturing, what is fetching data and AJAX, and what is BOM or browser object model. Ready to level up your JavaScript skills? Subscribe to Coder Beans now and stay tuned for more insightful content on DOM manipulation and web development.